What happens when a powerful, long-standing TV personality faces an unexpected challenger on live TV? Someone who isn't intimidated by the reigning queen's sharp words or off-limits topics? Well, that's exactly what went down when Karoline Leavitt walked onto The View and delivered one of the most humiliating moments for Whoopi Goldberg in years. The moment Whoopi's iron grip on the show finally cracked wide open. And trust me, you don't want to miss how this all went down. So buckle up because it's about to get wild. Let's be honest. The View has been living in its own bubble for years now. The show, once known for providing some sharp political discussions, has drifted far from the pulse of everyday Americans. The panelists are often so wrapped up in their own worldview that it's almost like they don't realize they're no longer speaking to the average viewer. Instead, they cater to a narrow audience that shares their political leanings, often alienating anyone who doesn't agree. And it shows. Instead of offering diverse perspectives, they've created an echo chamber. The problem? Viewers are starting to notice. The deeper The View dives into partisan politics, the more it alienates the very audience it needs to survive. And trust me, it's about to blow up in their faces. For years, Whoopi Goldberg has been The View's queen, untouchable, unchallenged. She's been in the driver's seat since the show first aired, controlling the conversations, cutting off guests mid-sentence, and bulldozing any opinions that didn't align with hers. Whoopi's reign was so secure, she became known for her smug, "I'm right, you're wrong" tone, shutting down debates before they even began. Her sarcastic one-liners and dismissive remarks were often the highlight of the show, but for anyone who disagreed with her, it was clear that dissent wasn't welcome. But here's the thing about power.
Well, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
It can be fragile. And when Karoline Leavitt walked onto that set, it was clear Whoopi's reign was about to face its biggest challenge yet. The confrontation started just like any other day on The View. Whoopi, with her signature self-assured smirk, fired the first shot. She pointed at Karoline and made a snide comment about how she wouldn't have this job without the wokeness that's taken over the political landscape. It was a jab, pure and simple, one that Whoopi thought would knock Karoline down a peg. But Karoline didn't flinch. Instead of getting defensive or trying to argue back with some clever quip, Karoline just smiled. And not just any smile, a slow, confident smile that practically screamed, "You've just made a huge mistake." And let me tell you, Whoopi had no idea what was coming next. Karoline Leavitt wasn't interested in playing Whoopi's game of emotional one-liners. No, she came prepared with facts. And not just any facts. She pulled out undeniable, hard-hitting government spending reports. We're talking numbers, documents, the kind of stuff you can't argue with, no matter how much you try to spin it. Karoline didn't just challenge Whoopi's opinions, she dismantled them with cold, hard data that left the panel scrambling. For the first time in years, Whoopi was the one on the defensive. The smug laughter that usually filled the room fell into an eerie silence. Karoline didn't need a flashy comeback, she let the facts speak for themselves. And in that moment, the entire dynamic of the show changed. Now, here's where things got really interesting. Whoopi, thinking she was in control, suddenly found herself struggling. Karoline wasn't just challenging the surface-level arguments, she dug into the specifics of government waste, pointing out how taxpayer money was being funneled into programs that seemed to do more harm than good. Gender studies in Guatemala, Sesame Street promoting political activism, the endless expansion of woke initiatives. It was all laid bare. And with the precision of a surgeon, Karoline connected the dots, showing how wokeness had transformed from a social movement into a political weapon. A weapon used to silence anyone who dared to speak out. Whoopi's usually quick-witted comebacks disappeared, leaving her fumbling for something to say. The air in the studio was thick with tension. Whoopi, who usually thrives on dominating conversations, was now just trying to stay afloat.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
And then the silence. Have you ever seen a room so quiet it felt like the world had stopped? Whoopi's usual smirk had completely vanished. She opened her mouth, tried to speak, but the words just wouldn't come. The tension was so palpable, you could cut it with a knife. The audience, frozen in place, unsure how to react. Even Joy Behar, Whoopi's usual backup, tried to crack a joke to ease the discomfort. But the damage was already done. Whoopi was no longer the dominant force in the room. and the truth had been exposed. The camera crew didn't know whether to zoom in on Whoopi's stunned face or just cut to a commercial. It was a moment of pure, unfiltered chaos. Whoopi Goldberg, the queen of The View, had met her match. But Karoline didn't stop there. Oh no, she dug even deeper, highlighting the hypocrisy within the very ideology Whoopi and the others were pushing. If wokeness is supposed to be about inclusion and diversity, then why is it that conservative voices, especially women, are the ones constantly under attack? Karoline laid it out, plain and simple. The left's idea of tolerance doesn't extend to anyone who challenges their narrative. She pointed out how cultural Marxism was infiltrating institutions across the country: public schools, Hollywood, big tech, and of course, the media, and the hypocrisy couldn't have been more glaring. Whoopi, who often touts the virtues of tolerance, was now the one trapped in a corner, unable to provide any real answer. The silence that followed wasn't just a pause, it was a statement that Whoopi couldn't hide from. And when the dust settled, it was clear. The balance of power had shifted. Whoopi had been caught completely off guard, exposed in front of millions of viewers. The internet exploded with memes, reaction videos, and commentary. Whoopi's once ironclad image as the queen of The View was shattered. People were questioning whether the show could even continue with such a glaring loss of credibility. Even Whoopi's biggest defenders couldn't ignore the fact that the script had been flipped. Karoline had humiliated her, and the world was watching. What happened next was a cascade of reactions from other conservative voices to mainstream media outlets, all making it clear this was a moment of reckoning. But wait, The View's troubles don't end here. Oh no, over the years, the show has landed itself in some serious legal hot water. First, Carrie Underwood sued for defamation after the panel mocked her performance at Trump's inauguration. Then, Elon Musk took legal action over false claims about Twitter's management. And now, Karoline Leavitt's moment on The View is part of a growing list of defamation lawsuits and public controversies. The once great platform for political discussion is now mired in legal chaos, and its credibility is rapidly diminishing. Advertisers have pulled back, and fans are starting to question if The View is worth the drama. Can the show survive, or is it on the brink of collapse? And as if things couldn't get crazier, Whoopi's time on The View came to a dramatic end. After that showdown with Karoline, ABC claimed Whoopi was taking a break. But let's be real, she had been let go. The network was in full damage control mode, trying to spin her departure as a break. But the truth was clear. Whoopi had overstayed her welcome. Fans were left wondering if The View could ever recover without its outspoken, divisive host. Would they replace Whoopi with someone else in her mold to maintain the status quo? Or was this the beginning of a major shift in direction for the show? One thing's for sure, The View is at a crossroads, and its future is uncertain. Will it recover, or is this the end of the line? So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for The View? Can the show bounce back from its growing list of controversies, or is Whoopi's exit the final nail in the coffin? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the latest updates on all things pop culture. This saga isn't over yet, and we'll be here to keep you in the loop.